Yo, what's up? Ogechi here. What's up, my niggas and niggerettes? I'm back in the building with another review. Now, before I begin, just want to let y'all know, as usual, that if y'all hear any talking and background noises and whatnot, that's my family, alright? Just want to give y'all a heads up just in case y'all hear that. Anyways, without further ado, let's continue on. Now, today's review is going to be on the 1993 Hong Kong Kung Fu film classic from the Golden Harvest Studio, Wong Fei 3, aka Once Upon a Time in China 3, starring Jet Li, Rosmand Kwan, Max Mok, Hong Yan, Chiu, Shun, and many, many more. Now, the fight choreography is done by Yuen, and it's directed by Hark. Now, the score is done by William Wu, if I remember correctly, but we'll get into it when we get into it. Anyways, without further ado, let's begin. And I'm going to use the Criterion Collection Once Upon a Time in China, the Complete Films Collection Blu-ray edition for this particular review. So, here goes, y'all. Taking place after the second film, Wong Fei visits Beijing to or I should say, Wong Fei travels to Beijing to visit his father, Wong Keiying, the legendary one of the 10 Tigers of Canton, with his pupil Lun Feng, as well as Hun 13. There, he's caught into this intrigue with a lion dance competition where various kung fu schools in China compete. And he also spars with a Russian rival for the affection of Aunt 13. Along the way, he also foils a foreign plot to assassinate the real-life Chinese diplomat Li Hongzhang. Will he succeed in these endeavors, or will it be a deadly failure with deadly consequences? Now, the story in this is actually pretty good in this film, you know what I'm saying? It's a pretty good follow-up to the first two films that came before it. And, Jet Li is awesome as always as Wong Fei Rosmand Kwan as Aunt 13, Max Mok as Lun Feng. There we have another one of Wong Fei famous students outside of Lun Feng and Lum Sai Wing and others, and that is Oaghaji, played by the awesome Hong Yan, who is just fantastic. Now, the English translation, the English name that's given to him by Kung Fu films like myself from around the world is Clubfoot, but his real name is Oaghaji. You know what I'm saying? So Clubfoot is just the nickname or that we give to the character, due to Hong Yan's portrayal of this real life student of Wong Fei What else? Chiu is also pretty good in this, you know what I'm saying? And Shun is pretty good as Wong Keiying, the father of Wong Fei The two actors had training in Chinese opera, you know what I'm saying, which is cool. Which they can showcase some martial arts skills around the fight scenes, which we will get to in a minute. The whole romantic rivalry subplot with Wong Fei the Russian dude, and Aunt 13 is very interesting, you know what I'm saying? Now, some people will be confused about, the love about this since the character Aunt 13. Well, as she explained it, they're only related to marriage and not by blood. It's very I should take that back. I would say that it's very, very complicated. You know what I'm saying? So the customs in Chinese culture are very different from what we see in the West. You know what I'm saying? So take that with a grain of salt. And I know there's going to be some cats that'll do a much better job in explaining this than I could. You know what I'm saying? So. Anyways, like I said, the story is pretty good. The characters have some good development, and the acting is pretty dope. So, the story, characters, and acting all get a 5 out of 5 on this. The action is just awesome, top notch. Yuen did a fantastic job in choreographing all of the fight scenes in the film, especially the lion dance scenes. You know what I'm saying? Now, Yuen, for those of y'all that don't know, he has a background in Chinese opera. His martial arts background is rooted in the Chinese opera. In fact, he studied in the Chinese Drama Academy, the same academy that brought us the Seven Moon Fortunes, a Chinese opera troupe that features Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Yuen Bu, Yuen Kwai, Yuen Hua, Yuen Chiu of Kung Fu Hustle fame as the landlady. Who else? Yuen Dak of Shaw Brothers fame. And let's see, what am I missing? Who am I missing? There's also Yuen Ju, another female member of the China Drama Academy. And there's also, those are the names at the top of my head. You know what I'm saying? And they're all trained under Yu Jin Yun. You know what I'm saying? That trained them. And you also might know that he also trained his daughter in Chinese opera, which the late great Siu-Chung, who was a well-known female martial arts action star in her own right back in the black and white era, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Anyway, Yuen did a fantastic job with the fight choreography. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a great display of Jet Li's physicality as well as Hung Yan's physicality. You also get to see Lao Shun and Chu Qin do some martial arts fighting, some kung fu fighting, which is pretty awesome. And like I said, as usual, it's a mixture of grounded kung fu and some of the wuxia action with the wires. You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty unique. A pretty good balance for sure. What else? Like I said, the fight scenes were very well shot and very well edited and very well lit too. You know what I'm saying? No complaints there. The film was as a whole was shot very well, especially in location in Beijing in mainland China, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? Especially since the success of the first two films, they were able to shoot around Beijing, which is pretty cool. The music in this is pretty good too. Let me see. The composer isn't James Wong, but it's a different composer. The same thing with the second film, which, let me see. Hold on, y'all, because I need to. Oh, yeah, the composer is William Wu Wai La. Okay, which is cool. And some of you might have noticed he also composed the soundtrack for Tai Chi Master, aka Twin Warriors, which is another Jet Li classic that y'all need to check out, by the way. And I did a review on that, just in case y'all know. Now, the person that composed Once Upon a Time in China 2 with the soundtrack are Richard Yuen, Chuk Fun, and Johnny Yuen K. Chun. And James Wong was the one that composed the music for the first film, which is cool. Yeah, just want to make sure I got that right because I got it wrong a little bit in the first film. And let me see. Yes, James Wong Jin was the one that composed the soundtrack in the first film. Okay. Just want to make sure I got that right in advance. So, yeah. And Wu Wai La definitely did a fantastic job in composing the soundtrack. So, no complaints there. So, especially with his rendition of the theme, "The Man of Determination," which is cool. You know what I'm saying? And it has a choir singing it, one in Cantonese and one in Mandarin, which is cool. So, now the action, cinematography, editing, lighting, and music all get a 5 out of 5 on this as well. Overall, Wong Fei Hong 3, aka Once Upon a Time in China 3, is an awesome follow-up, you know what I'm saying? And this will be Jet Li's last film in the series, to that point, until he will come back into doing the series with Once Upon a Time in China and America, which is a movie I will review in the near future. So stay tuned for that. I highly recommend y'all checking it out, especially if y'all enjoyed the first 2 films, and if y'all a Jet Li fan as well. So this film gets a 5 out of 5. Hopefully y'all enjoy this review, despite some hiccups here and there and that long pause or whatnot. I humbly apologize. Anyways, let me know what y'all think about Wong Fei 3, aka Once Upon a Time in China 3, in the comments below. If y'all like this video, y'all can hit that like button, share it, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to keep y'all notified on the uploads. Y'all can also follow me on my other social media accounts, and stay tuned for more other reviews and more other videos along the way. So, with all that said, this is your boy, Ogechi, Aghaji, aka Oaghaji, aka the Pervy Sensei, signing out. Peace.